Today we're going to do Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom. This is going to be a very spoiler-filled review, so if you haven't seen it, good. That would have been a waste of money, and I'm going to tell you why. Brings me no pleasure to say it, but probably the biggest disappointment of this entire year, cinematically speaking. Before we do that, though, I've got a couple announcements I want to make. My company, Darkwana Games, is going to be doing two big sort of parties where we're going to demo our new game, Perfect Ramen. And one of those is going to be at Arcane Comics on Aurora Avenue. That's in Seattle. And that's going to start at 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock on September 8th. So if you're in that area, please come check it out. The other one, also in Seattle, is going to be at the Ray Gun Lounge, sort of downtown Seattle, sort of Capitol Hill, sort of in that middle section there. This means middle section, obviously. And that's going to be from 6 o'clock to probably about 11 or maybe even midnight. And that's going to be on the 22nd also of August. And if you're watching this past this time, you need to make a time machine and go back and attend that without making your mother fall in love with you and risking, some kind of time paradox. So let's get to the movie. It is a pretty movie. I mean, it's gorgeous. Not just, the computer-generated dinosaurs and the computer-generated landscapes, but the real landscapes, the use of light and shadows and reflections and just glow coming off fire and magma. It's gorgeous. It is a gorgeous movie, but it's also stupid and has nothing to say. And you've probably dated that person at some point in your life. And if you haven't, you probably are that person. And that's fine. You can totally get by on that. Just don't talk much. Just get by on your looks. Don't be like me and be hideous and always talking, because that doesn't work out well. So Jeff Goldblum is barely in Fallen Kingdom, even though the previews made it look like he would be playing a big part in this. It's sort of the way that the previews for the 2014 Godzilla movie gave you the false impression that Bryan Cranston was going to be a big part of it, or that Godzilla was going to be a big part of it, when both those people were barely even in that movie. The same goes for Fallen Kingdom. Maybe their strategy here is that we'll see that, we'll get interested, they'll get us in the door, and then we'll see what a great movie is. We won't even care that they lied to us. But that's the same strategy people very falsely use when they make like an eHarmony profile and they post a picture of themselves that's 20 years old and 100 pounds lighter, and but when they get to know me, they won't care that I lied. Yeah, we'll care. We'll care that you lied to us. So to give you an idea where I'm coming from, when the first Jurassic Park came out, I was the perfect age for it. I was a little boy. Dinosaurs were awesome. They were the greatest thing ever and always would be until I hit puberty. I could not wait for this movie. I saw it like 3 times in theaters. I was crazy about this movie. I loved the soundtrack. The very first album I ever bought a compact disc was Jurassic Park. I loved it. I think one of the other things about Jurassic Park that really was interesting to me is I found that it was one of those rare cases where the movie is actually better than the book. Not too many of those. Thomas Harris's Hannibal would be one example. The Four Feathers would be another. I think most people would agree that the changes that Disney made with the MCU from the original source material, the original Marvel comic books, have been pretty good calls. Strangely enough, though, the second one of Michael Crichton's novels in this series, Jurassic Park Lost World, was actually better than the second movie. So one of the big challenges that faces anyone who wants to make a new Jurassic Park movie is, of course, the main question of why the hell would anyone go to this damn island? It's sort of like when you have a haunted house movie, you gotta come up with a reason why people don't leave the haunted house. In this case, you gotta come up with a reason why they go there to begin with. Now, in Jurassic Park 3, they came up with a pretty straightforward, obvious when you think about it, solution. A family ends up there by accident while on a boating trip. In this case, a parasailing thing goes wrong, and they drift off into the island, and bad things happen. Now, that could have worked just fine. But they decided to go a little bit further and make it more convoluted. They decided instead it was just the child who ended up in the island, and now the parents are going to get mercenaries and come to the island to save the kid. Okay, so it's a rescue mission, and if the mercenaries were of any interest, okay, but they're not. There's no justifying this. And they don't even stop there. The whole point of all this convoluted story bending is that we want Sam Neill's character, Dr. Grant, the main character from the first Jurassic Park, to show up in this one as well. So they come up with this whole crazy, am I saying convoluted enough here? I don't think I am. Plot where the parents trick Dr. Grant into thinking they want an aerial tour of the island, but they're really going to take him down into the island with these mercenaries because they need him for some reason to help them find the kid. It's not the biggest problem with Jurassic Park 3. The whole thing's kind of a mess. But it's a problem that will repeat itself with Fallen Kingdom. I had to get a new shirt because I just spilled pickle juice and mopping cleaner on the other one. So, turns out I can't juggle. So like Jurassic Park 3, we start off with a very good explanation for why there should be people on this island, even if it's not the most creative. In this case, mercenaries are hired to go to the island and collect the dino DNA so that this guy can make money, Dinosaurs, blank, profit! Underwear gnome logic. Unfortunately, right off the bat, this doesn't make a lot of sense because obviously there's going to be records of the DNA elsewhere. It would be so much more efficient to just hire a hacker to steal the dino DNA. But stick a pin in that plot hole because it's going to get wider as we go. We're going to come back to that. But anyways, instead of having a movie about these people going there and trying to get the DNA, no, it's just a prologue and it doesn't even matter and it's just pointless as hell. Even the way they go about it doesn't make sense. First they have to send a ship underwater to get people in, but then they need to fly in people to put a code in a door so that the submarine can get in. If you have a copter, just dump people from the... It doesn't make sense. It makes no sense. It's only there because they want to show us this really big sea-dwelling dinosaur. And that's a huge problem throughout this entire movie. There are scenes that just exist because they want to show us something that will look cool in the preview. So after the prologue scene, the United States government gets together to discuss whether or not dinosaurs should continue to be a thing or if we should just bomb them out of existence. And everyone agrees that, yeah, we should totally bomb them out of existence, and then we do so, and that's the end of the movie. No, of course that's not what happens. Not only do we decide not to blow the damn dinosaurs up, but it turns out that the people who built this park decided to do it on an active volcano. Because of course, right? Like, that's where you would put a theme park, on a fucking volcano, right? Naturally. Well, the volcano's going to go off because apparently God was just like, all right, screw this. I'm just going to take care of this mess. And then we decide we have to rescue the dinosaurs. We have to have a big meeting. Do we save the dinosaurs that want to eat us from the volcano? So you remember Star-Lord's girlfriend? I'm just going to call him Star-Lord and Star-Lord's girlfriend for the remainder of this review. I just could not be bothered to go look up the characters' names. You remember how she was just evil as freaking all get out in the first Jurassic World movie, and how she didn't give a damn about these animals? Well, now she's PETA as all goddamn hell about dinosaurs, and she must rescue them. She's going to go there and she's going to rescue the animals and she's going to take them somewhere. I think there's like a plot that there's some other island, but that's not what's really going to happen because... Okay, sit down for this. All right. So apparently there's another character who also owns Jurassic Park. If you're thinking he's the cool guy from the first Jurassic Park, you would almost be right, because my God, they're so similar. it seems almost irrefutable that originally they thought they were going to get that particular character, and then it turns out they couldn't. So we've got this other character who's clearly him in there, and he doesn't want to sell dinosaurs or anything like that, but he does give the right to run his company, to do whatever he wants, to Villain A. Villain A wants to get dinosaurs and auction them off to, I guess, terrorists? It's very unclear. So, of course, the owner of Jurassic Park wouldn't like that. So the terrorist is going to hold the auction at that guy's house while he's home and hope he just doesn't notice dinosaurs. Also, the police don't notice dinosaurs, the neighbors don't hear the dinosaurs. Nobody notices a ton of dinosaurs being driven to a house, let alone a bunch of terrorists coming in to purchase the dinosaurs. This goes completely unnoticed. Sure, fine, why not? But it gets dumber, if you can believe it. It turns out also that bad guy A is in working with bad guy B to set up these meetings with this terrorist. Why couldn't he do that himself? No reason. We just felt like being redundant. So these are two separate bad guys. They're completely interchangeable and should be one bad guy. But there's a third bad guy, and they're going to send that bad guy to the island to collect the dinosaurs, to bring them to the mansion, to auction them off, and hope nobody notices this. And he's going to go with all his mercenary people. So, of course, they also want to send Star-Lord and his girlfriend because they wouldn't like that and would interfere and probably screw their plan up. So, of course, involve them. Why wouldn't you? That just makes sense. Yeah. Oh, I need a drink. Okay, so it turns out interchangeable villains A, B, and C actually need to collect these dinosaurs to sell to the terrorists, but they specifically need Star-Lord's Raptor Blue, that's the name of the dinosaur, Blue, to make a super dinosaur that they're going to sell, even though they apparently already made one. So I don't really understand that. In fact, they also already stole the DNA from the island. Those mercenaries I mentioned earlier in the beginning, they succeeded, and they took dino. There's no reason why they still need these dinosaurs, because the mercenaries already took the dino DNA from the island, but they need the raptor to make the dinosaur that they already have to sell to the terrorist. Oh, and they're in league with one of the scientists who made the original Jurassic Park, like made all the dinosaurs. So he already knows how to make them all, but they still had to send mercenaries to the island to collect the dino DNA that they still need anyways, so they can make the dinosaur that they already have, but they need Blue to make it, even though they already have it. And the villain works for the guy and has power of attorney for the guy who owns Jurassic Park, so he already has access to this, and Star-Lord's girlfriend is in their pocket, and she clearly already knows how to make the dinosaurs and would probably just give them the information if they asked. This movie is punishment from God. So the bad guys who sent mercenaries to the island to collect the DNA that they didn't need now send mercenaries back to the island to collect the dinosaurs that they also don't need, and they're going to send the good guys with them so the good guys can fuck it all up, and the good guys are going to bring two people that have no business being there for no reason at all. There's no reason for doing this. And they're going to go look on this entire island for the dinosaur Blue, and they're going to find him immediately, which is great, because the bad guys really need Blue, which is why they shoot him immediately. They immediately shoot her. And then it's okay, though, because they give the dinosaur a blood transfusion, and that makes bullets go away. And
and the volcano goes off, and the dinosaurs are all like, oh no, a volcano's going off, let's eat each other and attack humans while we run from lava, because that's how we would react. So the terrorists are going to sell the dinosaurs to, or no. The scientists are going to sell the dinosaurs to the terrorists, and they train the dinosaurs to attack people on cue. They will attack them if you point an assault rifle at them, which is pointless, because if you're pointing an assault rifle at them, you can just shoot them. You don't need a dinosaur. So, also, what do the dinosaurs do if you don't point an assault rifle at them? I mean, killing kind of seems their default mode, their default function. I don't understand why they need to be trained to do what they're already doing. And then, then Blue fights the dinosaur that they made for some reason. They're not going to sell it at the auction now because it's a prototype. And why would they get all those terrorists there to show them a dinosaur? They're not going to sell it now. It's a practice auction. It's a practice auction. They do sell some dinosaurs for like $22 million, which isn't even enough money to make a movie about selling dinosaurs to terrorists. So I don't know how much money you make selling dinosaurs to terrorists, but why should anything at this point make sense? This movie disproves math. Math means nothing now. It's all out the window because of this fucking movie. And then Blue fights the dinosaur that they made, and the dinosaurs end up in crates, even though a bunch of them got free. They're all there somehow. It's like the Gremlins all being at the theater for Snow White. They're just all there, and there's poisonous gas, and they can press a button that will open the doors so that the dinosaurs can get out of the cage, and then they can press another button that'll open a door that'll let the dinosaurs outside. And it doesn't occur to them that they could just open this. They could press the second button, and the poison would go away, and the dinosaurs would stay in their cage. And you'd think they would go that route. So, girl, let's the dinosaurs go, because she's a clone, and that the dinosaurs are clones. And if everyone's a clone, then that means the dinosaurs should run around like the suburbs and eat teenagers. So in conclusion, Fallen Kingdom is a masterpiece of cosmic nihilism, looking at the way that each and every one of us is but a redundant character. Countless people just like us, capable of serving our exact same function. The world continuing to tick, the movie continue to play out without any of our involvement whatsoever, and that all our intentions are in fact riddled with plot holes that make no sense at all. Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom is brilliant.